Hey, Mom.
Hey.
Hey, how do you feel? How are you feeling?
Okay, yourself?
I'm feeling okay. Wow, you are being so formal. So
I know I am.
Come closer. Get up right up on the mic. Right up on the mic. There it is.
Well, I
Look
feel
at
like
that.
I'm going to eat it.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Delicious. I seasoned it with sazon. Closer. Like you're gonna have to, don't get closer and lower. All right. You feeling okay?
Yes, of course.
You ready for this?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. Quick question. Paper or plastic?
Plastic.
Plastic. You would kill the oceans. Okay. Awesome.
This episode is presented by MSP GeekCon 2023, a conference for MSPs by MSPs. Occurring May 21st through the 23rd, 2023 in Orlando, Florida, this two-day event is built around the journey of technical growth from Tier 1 to Tier 3. Visit mspgeekcon.com for more information.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and speak into this camera right here. Who we're speaking to, by the way, Mom, is everyone out in computer land. That's what we call it, computer world, computer land. So we're going to talk to them right there. What's going on, leaders in computer land? This is Aaron Bolton, and you are watching 38 at 38, where I go over some of the most ridiculous jobs that people have had, and definitely that I have had. I've said this many times. I've said this with every guest that I've had on. I've said I have a very special guest. It's really special. And we know that I only mean that some of the time. But today, I absolutely do truly mean it, because I have with me as my guest today, my mother, Karina Ramos. Mom, how you doing?
Fine. And you?
Oh, Mom, you're going to have to unleash. You're going to have to unleash a little with your This is also kind of special on a couple levels, right? So this is, where do I start? First, this is the first live studio recording. You know, the first time I've ever been in front of someone doing a podcast. Yeah. It's always been over like over the internet, you know, over the interwebs, WW something. But so that's one reason why. Obviously, you're my mom, but this is being released in May, beginning of May. So that's going to be Mother's Day. So this is a Mother's Day episode. So this is very appropriate. But the whole aspect of this show is to talk about all the ridiculous jobs. You know, by the time I was 38, I've had 38 jobs, right? That's the whole point of 38 at 38. But as you go through, and most times I say that and people are like, wow, 38 jobs, way to hang in there, you know? But it wasn't about that. It was about, I started working really young, really early. You know that.
Yes.
And I many times all throughout my life, I've had multiple jobs at the same time. So that kind of adds up after a while. But I get all that hustle from you. Like I grew up, you know, seeing you hustle in different businesses, seeing you hustle to make money and just do different things that if you see that there's an opportunity somewhere and you feel good, go for it, right? So that's really what this is about. The hustle, but also through the hustle, all the ridiculous jobs that we've had. So just to catch us up, well, real quick, let's talk about where do you work now? Like, what have you been doing for the past X amount of years and most recently?
In the medical field.
Medical field.
Yes,
Very good.
In the medical field.
She works in the morgue.
No.
And she says, I love it. So very cool, work in the medical field. Do you remember your first job? The first job by the way, the way we define job is anything you do where you have a customer or customer base and you actually get paid for that.
Yes.
So what was your first job?
I was 14 years old in New York in a grocery store.
In a grocery store or a bodega?
No, a grocery store.
Okay, sorry.
Excuse me. In a grocery store. And I was working with in the meat department. Yeah, that was...
In the meat department?
Yes.
Doing what? 14 years old, slicing meat?
No. helping with the, with the plastic where you put the trays and you have to put it in through the plastic to close the.
Oh, okay, like wrapping it up.
Wrapping it up, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Mom,
You didn't know that?
I never knew that. Now wait, I know the story of when I got my first paycheck. Well, tell that story.
Oh, yeah. Well, when I got my.
Get right up on the mic.
My first paycheck, well, it had two paychecks. I went and got my mom a sofa that we used to go by this store in the weekend sometimes. And she's kind of said that she liked this sofa. So I said, well, when I start working, that's my first paycheck is going to be that. So that's what I got her. And then I told her mom we have to go to the store. But she didn't know because, and I said, but we needed a delivery because back then, So I took it to the store and the guy goes, well, this is your, when are you going to deliver? When do you want somebody to come and pick it up? So my mom, she was like, she didn't know where that guy was coming from.
So she's completely surprised on
she
it.
was shocked. So he goes, yeah, she bought this for you, Papa. She's been saving and she bought it for you.
He told your whole story?
Yeah.
He did? Okay.
Yeah, he did. And because I didn't tell my mom. And no, and so she had to get a friend of hers. They had a furniture store in some other part of Queens.
You just made this happen.
Yeah, so she got it together, Yeah.
That's so. I'm glad you mentioned that. I've heard that story many, many times. For some reason, I've heard it more of a, when I got my first job, I bought my mother a furniture set. Yeah. Sorry, I haven't bought you a furniture set. But what you do say is usually after that story is, your sister, when she got her first paycheck, what'd she buy you?
Rita?
Yeah.
She got me that big painting that I have in my bedroom.
That's
Beautiful
right.
painting.
That's right. Well, I brought you love. Okay, so no other child of yours has a podcast.
No, you got me the perfume that I liked it.
Do you mean Red Door by Elizabeth Arden?
No.
The White Diamonds by
no. It was Ferragamo. Fire something.
Okay.
Yeah, you got me that, which I wanted.
Look at that. I do so many amazing things. I forget some of them sometimes. So we're going to do things a little differently because usually I have the guest on. We do this part. This part's called, I call it the banter beat. Everyone loves banter. Studies show that 100% of people love banter. I asked two people, and they both said yes, 100%. So what we're doing is, what we usually do is my guest tells a story, their most ridiculous work story, and then I tell my work story. We kind of wrap it up, or whatever quote that they have chosen. But I wanted to do things a little differently, kind of like how when I had Mario on the podcast, my best friend Mario, we both worked at the junkyard together. So we both, yeah, you remember that. Golly. So what I want to do is I want to go through some of the jobs that I've already talked about. So this is also another reason why this is a special episode. This is episode number 12 months. So this has been one full year cycle. So super excited about that. We got something really cool coming for the 1 year anniversary that's next month as well. So keep tuned. But so what I want to do first is go through the list of different jobs that we've already discussed over the podcast, and just want to see if you remember any of them, or because there's been quite a number that I've had. And then what I want to do is go over in particular specifically a job that you had that when I was being raised that I've already kind of talked to you about, but I want to go over kind of some of the details there. Shows, look at that, 38 at 38 with Aaron Bolton. Look at that stud. Look at that stud. Okay, so let's go through these. See all the episodes. You know what's so funny? I completely forgot what that one was. Which one I talked to Callan about? Oh, yeah, Champ Sports. Do you remember me working at Champ Sports in the mall?
Yes.
Okay, Champ Sports. I worked at when I was in Lakeland living with you. Worked at Champ Sports in the mall. That was a fun time. So that's one high school job. Let's see, with Vicky. Oh, do you remember I worked at selling Yellow Page ads? I worked for Verizon selling Yellow Page ads. I know. I was like early 20s. Let's see. Which one was this? Wow, I actually have no idea what that one was about. Somebody yelling at someone. Let's see. Another one. Oh, the junkyard. That was obvious. That was a good one with the junkyard. Let's see. Unforgettable. It absolutely was unforgettable. Here's one that we went over. We went over city beepers and thunder beepers. So just to catch you all up, city beepers and thunder beepers, they were beeper stores. Now, for people who don't know, beepers are it is pre-cell phone technology. And if you were a doctor or a drug dealer, you were our client. That's the only people that need it at that point, right? At a certain point, there was how many people? Because I remember city beepers.
Trucking companies still.
Trucking company. Yeah. Mom, I remember city beepers, thunder beepers, and I remember thinking, first of all, what we talked about on one of the last podcasts is me being 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, working between city beepers, thunder beepers, and the person coming, and this little beeper was like the top of the line technology back then, and they would want, the customer would want the case changed, which isn't like cell phones today. Like you got to take an Allen wrench, you got to unscrew the whole thing, and you'd point at me and say, change it. And the people would look at me 10 years old and they'd be like, are you sure he's qualified to do this? I had a cigarette hanging out my mouth. I was like, I got this. So that was a lot of fun. The story of the job I want to talk about, which I think is really cool. I think is a really cool concept that they're going out of business, and these are going out of business, and it's leaving opportunity for other stuff online like it, which are flea markets, right? So, Mom, you had even beeper stores. You started the beeper store off in the flea market, right?
No, we had the store, and then whatever was not selling, like, left.
Yeah.
We should take it to the flea market.
Oh.
And sell it also.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
So like all your extra inventory you would take to the flea market. Yeah. The flea market would be like your Ross best dressed for less. They come into City Beepers and they're like, do you have anything cheaper? And you're like, you should check our clearance section.
At the same time, I will advertise my company in the flea market.
That's so smart. So yeah, you would set people up with activation. Like you would set people up. That's really smart. I didn't know that. I do remember when you went to open up Thunder Beepers, you started that in the flea market.
No.
No? No. I thought you started that in the flea market to build capital. No?
I already was known in the flea market because of City Beepers. So as you recall, it was on my own Thunder Beeper.
Yeah.
So
that was your own thing. That was, yeah.
So I knew people from AllNet back then, the stores, the company. They had the beepers. So I got in touch with them. And that's how they brought the whole inventory. They set up the whole store. And they gave me 3 months.
Really?
Yeah.
So because they knew you, they came and just set your whole system up for you. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I've always been able to pull from you is seeing that there's a way. There's a way to get something done. Here's specific. Now, remember, I kind of, you know what? This is going to make for a good two-parter, okay? Because there's one part, I know I've been kind of teasing you about this clothing or this item that it's like I've been wanting to talk to you about this story. I've talked to Mari about it. My friends know about it, and we laugh. As a matter of fact, I got a text message last week from a friend who was like, she mentioned it because she knows the story, and they're waiting for me to talk to you about it because they want information that I don't have.
Okay.
So what you do, is you sold clothing for a while.
Clothing store.
Yeah, you had. Now here's the first one I can remember, and I only remember the name, Karyna Fashions for Men.
Oh wow, yeah, that was my first one.
That was your first one?
In Armenia.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I was what, like 8, 7, maybe?
Yeah, you were little.
I remember Karina's Fashions for Men, and I remember. Do you remember any of the brands that you? I remember the brand. FUBU. Carl Kanai.
Yeah.
Carl Kanai. Yeah. Timberland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was another one that was strong. It was so strong as FUBU, but I forget the name.
Is Tommy Hilfiger? It wasn't that. No, there was
No.
You had.
Yeah.
So what?
I used to wear all those.
Oh, don't get ahead of me. So here's the thing. So we would wake up. I would come home from school Friday, walking down from the bus stop, and I would see my house. our house, and then I would see you come out the door, throw something in the trunk, and go back in. And I knew, I'm like, okay, well, we're about to go to Miami. That was it. Like, we would always go to Miami. And it was like, get in the car. We're going to Miami. Okay. So we'd head out to Miami, and you would like go to a warehouse there and buy clothes and look at clothing there. Tell me about that, because I don't know anything about that. I'm very interested in that.
I used to go to Miami Fashion District, which is still until today. It's wholesalers, and you go there and you got tons of stores, wholesale stores, and you buy there. Whatever you want to buy, whatever you want to purchase. Of course, you have to be 6 and 12 for one item. And that's what I.
So you buy in bulk?
Bulk, yeah. So
I remember that. I remember many times going down to Miami, and it was never, is this business or pleasure? It was yes, because when we're going to go to Miami, we're going to have fun, but then there's also business, so we have to. Is that the warehouse? No, que barato. That's on Biscayne. Is that?
No, that's not. That's that store. That's that big store they have on 103rd in Hialeah to this day.
Yeah.
But it's not like a wholesale store.
Okay. See, I always thought that was like one of, I used to have, you got me. I remember we'd always go by and I'd go, no, que barato, which is, whoa, how cheap. And you got me a business card from it. And I kept that business card for, I want to say maybe 15, 20 years. I lost my wallet, figures, and I lost that business card. But it's funny talking to the producers of the show, and they're in Miami, so they know about no, que barato. No, que barato. So how did you get into, like, no, you just went down to the fashion district and just searched for what you felt would sell?
And I knew what was selling, what was it, because I used to check, whatever, even though New York fashion comes here later on.
Yeah.
But I tried, they still sell it, they would sell it wholesale, but not everybody was buying it. So I would make sure, that I would buy the same fashion that was not showing in those stores right now. And that's what I used to do all the time,
Yeah. Look, I did have some pretty dope clothing. I was dressed always new.
And I used to go to what's the name in New York for the fashion district to buy the big, I forgot the name.
I don't know where.
I used to go there.
Empire State Building.
No. It's a big thing, but I just forgot the name of it. But I used to go there. That was more high fashion. And I used to go there and buy stuff too.
Oh, you know what I'm just getting? All right, so trying to tie it all back. Okay, so I remember that after after Thunder Beepers, you wanted to get back into fashion, and that's when we started going to the flea market a lot, because it was building capital. It was, we already have something there. We already kind of know the situation, and so we would go. There was a few flea markets that we'd go to. Do you remember one of their names?
No, because the one that I used to go all the time, the one in Hillsborough.
Funland Drive-Thru.
Yeah. And then the other one that opened up, it was the indoor flea market, the one in Florida Avenue.
The one on Florida Avenue. Yeah. And there's one more.
By 75.
Yep. And then there was a one on 50th Street.
Yeah, that wasn't so
that was. We went there a lot.
Yeah.
We went there a lot. Yeah. I remember that one a lot. Because I remember there was in the front, the guys who would sell the video games. Yeah. And I would sit there and play the video games all day. I mean, I would work. I would work and sell video games. Wow, man. I remember just all these. So it's so funny. Just all these memories hitting me right now of being in that indoor flea market with the cages.
You're one.
Oh, which one?
Sefner flea market.
Where is that?
It used to be little in Sefner.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
I don't remember.
Webster flea market. Webster.
I don't remember that.
Yes. That's a wholesale flea market.
Is it still around?
Wholesale, yeah.
Oh.
It's a wholesale flea market. Also retail, but mainly it's wholesale.
How's it wholesale? Wholesale flea market?
Wholesale flea market. Webster is the only one. Biggest flea market.
Well, we have to make a trip out there. We're going to make it happen.
No, we don't.
Pass. So are we too good for that? What's the flea market now? The flea market nowadays is OfferUp.
I don't know. I haven't seen.
Facebook Marketplace. That's got to be the flea market today.
Are they still open? I don't know.
Facebook Marketplace?
No. Hillsborough.
Oh, no. The Funland Drive-Thru? No, they closed.
So they all closed already?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're all closed. Yeah. So the new flea markets are online.
Yeah.
That's funny. Etsy's like the high class flea market.
Years.
Yeah. They like it. So, no, what I was saying is I distinctly remember now, being in the flea market, and it was like, chain link fence would divide the different booths. And for the clothing, we'd have that big hook and we, hang all the clothes.
Yeah, that was in Florida Avenue.
That was in Florida Avenue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'd hang the clothes up. I distinctly remember that. That was so cool. Well, I mean, I'm sure looking back now, back then I wasn't like, this is so cool. So I was, here's where it comes to, I was 15 years old. And it was one of those days where I came home on Friday and I need to get, I know I have some fuzzy memories here and you might remember. So came home on Friday. It was one of those days we're going to Miami. Okay. So we go to Miami and we went to Miami. We get there and you guys are looking in the fashion district because you're looking to buy clothing. We're going to sell it. And you got these jeans. And you were loving the jeans. And I loved the jeans. I thought they were really cool. And I remember you bought so many of the jeans. I want to say that we had to rent a van and like load up the van or something like that, or the rental van that or the van that we had, like it was loaded up with jeans. Like you were like, these jeans are great. We're going to get those jeans. And you did. We sold a crap load of them. So here's the thing. We did really well. There were some things going against me when I was 15 years old. I was short. I was unpopular. And I was quite fat. Right there. I don't know if you know this. There are no pictures of me when I was 15 years old. I ripped them all up. Yeah, like when I was like 16, 17.
You did?
Yeah. I remember the pictures. When I was 15 years old that summer, we went to Daytona Beach. And there's pictures. We had pictures of, and
I still have some.
Oh well, they might be gone. I'm gonna go look for them. Where Damaris right there. I was giving him piggyback ride,
Yeah,
and I looked like a chubby female with no shirt on. Mom, yes, I did. So I wasn't that popular. Funny thing is, my best friend was the most popular kid in school, but I wasn't there. And you got me these jeans, right? I wore the jeans. You gave Mario a pair of jeans, and I'm glad he's not here to defend himself because later he'll be. Now, if you remember, they're called bear claw jeans. Okay, you remember bear claw jeans?
Yes.
Okay. Bear claw jeans. If I can explain it, Mom, this is not a joke. Between me, Mario, and Jeremy, we have spent. I can't even tell you how many hours separately Googling, trying to find these pants. No, not at all.
Really?
Not anywhere close. Mom, it's as if you bought all of the stock and that was it. Mom, all right, to explain it.
People were buying them.
People bought them like crazy. Here's the thing. Here's the reason people bought them, because they were niche and they were like, oh, that's something different. It didn't catch on until, man, this is in the mid 90s, and Googling my research, it caught up in high fashion in 2015. So they were a pair of jeans that across the butt said bear claw with 2 embroidered claws. Right on the butt, 2 embroidered claws. And hey, internet, remember when in the 90s, the hip hop culture, it was super cool, and even now, but it was super cool to wear your jeans sagging off your butt and have we remember that, right? Okay. So these pants answered the question, what if you wanted to have that look, but still be modest? So they were a pair of jeans that fit around the waist, everything fine, but then there was another jean fabric halfway down the butt to make look like the bottom of the jeans. And it was like a pocket. Yeah. It was like a pocket. So here's why, and I never told you this. So I wore them, right? This is the mid 90s. Hip hop culture is like East Side, West Side. People are getting shot and killed for the rap game, right? And so anything connected to that was like suspended, ISS, and the biggest thing was kids coming to school wearing their pants off their butt. Mom, every teacher in that school was like, Aaron, pick your pants up. And I was like, I can't. This is what they are. So imagine this short, chubby kid. And I mean, it was like on the morning show, they were talking about, you better have a belt. Your pants never. I mean, it was constant. People were just right out. Man, I'm not. Get to the principal's office. So every teacher, and it was like the teachers forgot that it was me, like, and because they didn't maybe who I was, they just saw me from down, and then saw that I was where somebody. Hey, stop right there! Get him! It's me again. What are you doing? No, it's not. And I'm constantly lifting my shirt up, showing my butt. So you gave Mario a pair. Mario was like, "Thank you so much. Oh, these are awesome. So much. Thank you so much." Right when you turn around, he's like, "I'm not wearing these. I'm gonna get." He's absolutely immediately. He's like, I am not wearing these. I'm already in trouble. I'm not going to get more in trouble. I'm not going to do this. What's funny is every time, and I didn't say anything because I didn't want him to beat me up, but every time he came over and you were like, how you like those jeans? He would lie to your face and he would like, I wore them yesterday. He always wore them yesterday. He was like, talk to him about that. He's like, Mom, I wore them yesterday. I love them. And then he would be like, you need to get on your son. He doesn't wear them enough. And I was like, What's funny is I remember you gave him a pair. You told me to give him a pair. And you were like, I know you didn't mean it. You didn't mean anything negative about it. It was the absolute truth. You said, Papa, get him to wear the jeans because isn't he popular? And I was like, so you are completely aware that I am not popular? Just give him. But I'm wearing them, Mom. Give him to Mario. He had always just wore them. All right, hey, you know what? We're gonna go ahead and take a break real quick. We're gonna take a break for commercial now.
Hi, I'm Ray Orsini.
And I'm Tony Francisco, and we're the hosts of MSP Dispatch.
Every Tuesday and Friday, we'll bring you the news, community events, and discussions that are important to MSPs today. Whenever possible, we'll also include industry experts to provide their insight, and all within 30 minutes.
Available on YouTube, Pocket Casts, Spotify, iTunes, and your favorite podcatcher in audio or video form. We're everywhere you want us to be.
We hope to see you next time on MSP Dispatch, your source for news, community events, and commentary in the MSP channel.
And we're coming back. Hello. All right. So do you have any stories? Is there anything that you remember specifically from the flea markets or anything that pops out, anything weird, any weird characters?
Yes, sometimes people trying to like take stuff from the front.
Steal?
Yeah.
Right in front of you?
Yeah. They used to ask me, I want that in the back. Can you go and see the one in the back? I used to turn, and then they would try to get something, but I would call it, would catch them in time, and yes.
What would you say to him?
Let it go.
Let it go. You got me again.
I mean, they always try though.
What I think is,
and oh my God, yes.
What?
Try to, I don't know if you could say, try to sell some.
Well, you can say, yeah.
Drugs for clothes.
They would. Oh, really?
Yes.
Like what type of drugs are you talking about?
I say no.
Well, I mean, did you ever say yes? You never said. I mean, was it good stuff? We're talking about? It was probably some trash weed. So they would try to exchange for. Like, how much would that be? Like, what would they even, how would you even know?
I don't know.
Like, exchange rate occurred? I don't know. What's the exchange rate?
They thought everybody was into drugs. I don't know. And,
That's wild.
Yeah.
No, I didn't think about that. All right. So, what I remember, since we're going to, and this is kind of going on, I want to cover two stories about being in the flea market, or two jobs. One job being, anytime you had the fashion, right? Anytime that's what I remembered. I was getting flashbacks, not just of hanging the stuff up, but of the windbreakers. Remember the plasticky, the jumpsuits? Yeah. Because you know why I remember? The image in my mind was each one of those was individually wrapped inside of a plastic sleeve. Mm-hmm. And so, Oh my goodness, I'm remembering now. I was so frustrated because we had to set everything up and put them on tables, but they would just slide everywhere. So that was basically my job all day long, was like organize it, make sure the large and the sizes are together, and they were always slipping all over the place. But what was so cool about that is that, like, you obviously single mother, right, raising us. And you needed to make money. And so you were like, okay, well, we're going to do this. We're going to hustle. I'm going to have a business selling beepers. And then also anything that's not selling there, I'm going to take it over here. And I'm going to take my kids with me because, one, it was necessity. You had to. But also it was, man, what we learned. What I learned. I can't speak for my siblings, but from what I learned, I mean, I think I learned street smarts. You learn street smarts. It's, I mean, you really do. Not because I never felt in danger. You know, it wasn't dangerous, but you're around real people. You're around, and kids around real people are just going to pick things up. You know, they're just going to be like, oh, this is when someone's acting like that. That's not, or, you know, oh, I need to keep my eye open for that. And the place I remember that the most, learning that the most, is at Funland Drive-Thru, which is the open air flea market. And Adelia. So I was 13 years old, and I would, on the weekends, you know, I would go and I'd sell for her. And she would pay me, you know, some money. She'd had 3 little spots open up, and she would sell clothing, right? She would sell clothes. And I would be there, I'd, you know, bag and go get her coffee, little things. Now that I remember it, there were some times where I would watch. Remember? Oh my goodness! Remember Hector with all the shoes? Hector, he had all the sneakers. He had Nikes, he had Adidas, he had Fila's, he had all these sneakers. He was there for years, Mom. His huge van. You don't remember his name? Maybe his name's Hector. Maybe it's Jimmy. No, it's Hector. He would be there. Spanish guy? No, Hector. Hector Rodriguez? No, he's from Nigeria. He would have tables and tables of tennis shoes, boxes, and
I just remember all the Arabic, you know, people that I knew there.
He was the one. There was Spanish guy, and then across from him, there was an old Spanish guy that would sell the big speakers for your cars. You don't remember he was this old Spanish guy, and we would set up next to him sometimes. So I met him, I knew him, and then Adelia would set up next. So I would get to know him, and then he would actually have me. He'd want to leave, and he'd like, hey, just watch this stuff. So I'm like 11, 12 years old, selling 12-inch speakers. 12-inch speakers for people's cars, and they're like, you know, collecting like $200. And again, people are like, here you go, I guess, you know? But I mean, okay, so working with Adelia, and then she, is that her name? Adelia. She worked at Kmart. Yeah. She worked at Kmart. Oh, you know, I am mentioning more and more in my life. I'm mentioning stores that I remember that are out of business, that are no more. Yeah. I told Riza the other, you know, wifey Riza, we met working at Sears together. And I told Riza, I go, baby, our origin story has to do with a huge nationwide department store that is no longer around. That's like saying, hey, baby, we met at Montgomery Ward's, you know, or we met at Sears or Zara, you know. It's nuts. So anyway, she was working at Kmart, and then she told me, she said, hey, I got a bunch of these clothes, a bunch of these actually like bags, like big black garbage bags full of clothes. And she said, you know, it's I've already went through it, and like what I'm going to sell, you can have all the rest. I said, I can have all the rest. And she was like, yeah, you can have, do you remember this? She said, you can have all the rest to sell. I said, okay, cool. And I think for like a month or 2 months in the summer, every Saturday and Sunday, you would take me down to the flea market. I was 13 years old. I sat up next to Adelia. So, you know, it was safe. That. She would have her little section, and then I would have a section next to her, but it was mine. Like, it was like, I paid for the spot. I think it was like $3, $5. I paid for the spot. I brought my bags, my grocery bags, and I had all of the clothes they were brand new clothes. And I had them all kind of put together and set up. And I did that for, I want to say that whole month. I remember at first I was very particular. I was like, excuse me, that is $2.50, sir. Like it was very, but I remember the last day, and it was just like, I had a tarp out and it was just so few scattered clothes. I just had them all just thrown out there. And I was yelling, anything you want. Little 12-year-old, 13-year-old, anything you want, anything you can shove in a bag, $1, shove it in a bag. And I made $3. But here's the thing. I think I overheard, and I was talking to Mario about this a couple of years ago. I think I overheard Adelia talking to another friend saying that she got all those clothes from Kmart.
That's what I was saying. Oh my God! I said, oh my God! I don't believe you're gonna sell this stuff.
I knew it. That's so great. Okay, so they were it was definitely hot merchandise. It was stolen. I plead the fifth. It was stolen merchandise. I had a feeling. My adult life, I was thinking, I was like, why wouldn't she care about all that money, and why do they still have tags on it?
I found out way after that.
I would imagine, but I count that as a job.
Yeah, okay.
I count that as a job. I was making money. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. But but things like that.
I thought those clothes were coming from Miami. Yeah.
They might have went through a port in Miami. Yeah,
we have words after that.
Yeah, I can imagine that. That is so great. It's funny to know. Look at that. I was a criminal mastermind. I was at an early age. Mom, so with all the experiences that you've had in work and starting businesses, and I mean, there's so many we can go into.
Restaurant, remember?
Restaurant. Okay, you know what? Good. I wasn't going to mention it because that's actually on my list of one of the jobs, but we'll go ahead and mention it because I love it. Go ahead and talk about it. What is this job the company had?
Cardelli Tropical. That was in Lakeland.
Cardelli Tropical. Yep.
Yeah, and that was in 2001.
Yeah. Wow. Yep. Yeah. Well.
2001 to 2004.
Well, we can remember. We know why we remember it's 2001. Do you remember?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will never forget that. And that was a few months.
Hold on. Let's say because 9/11. It was. I want to tell people rather than so they know. Yeah, that was rough.
That was just a couple months before that.
Months
before that, yeah. And you were working there also.
Yeah, I was working there.
Yeah.
I was working there on the weekend. Some weekdays I'd go over there. I'd work.
Make a splash out of everything.
It was fun, Mom. It was so great. It was so great. That's another job that I would run deliveries and I would cook. I would do the smoothies.
Yes,
I would do the smoothies. I would do the smoothies. Like that was my thing. Oh man, all Mom did was just give me a stage. So my favorite was we had on the wall a picture, one of those hand-drawn pictures, of Desi Arnaz, right?
All the Cuban.
Cuban different actors.
Actors.
So, and Desi Arnaz was there, and I grew up watching old and watching I Love Lucy, and also Desi Arnaz is like, if you were Cuban and didn't know Desi Arnaz, something was wrong with you. Like, it was like, even now, it's no one knows, but I'm still like, hey, we had Desi Arnaz. All right. But he was up there on the wall, and the place would be packed. And I would walk in from a delivery, and I was, oh, hey, how's everyone doing? I'd work the crowd, make a couple of jokes, and I'd say, oh, excuse me. And I would turn right to the picture on the wall, and I'd go, oh, excuse me. Oh. All right, guys. So people just stop.
I used to be so embarrassed.
What's going on? Oh, I had so much fun. For, and I think that was the first restaurant experience that I've had. That was the first restaurant experience that I had. And that, another one was Red Lobster, which we talked about. Oh, you remember I worked at Red Lobster too?
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Cheddar Bay biscuits. But yeah, that was such a fun experience. And that's where I realized, oh my goodness, people in the food service industry, people in the food service industry are, man, that is a tough gig. That is a tough
You have to
gig.
love it.
You have to, right? You can't just be like, you can't walk into it, I'm going to turn a profit. I'm going to, no, you got to, when you're cooking, it's work. It's work. Yeah, I remember. I had a lot of fun there. I specifically remember going and doing deliveries and just being, hey, and then like them not tipping. And I didn't ask for a tip. I was like, but come on.
I used to ask you, did they tip you?
Yeah, it's like,
Okay.
yeah, they said to keep the change. The change was a change. The change was coins, really bad. What I think was really cool. And here's another thing that so in the, at the end of every episode, we kind of talk about what's something that through your experiences you've learned and that you take with you throughout your life, and maybe you've thought back to and said, oh, I've learned it then, this lesson. And so, and which I'll ask in a moment, but many times it comes back to, if something needs to get done, just go ahead and get it done, and don't be afraid to speak up. Like, don't be afraid to speak up. I think there's been three of my episodes that I've said, this lesson, this was another time where I've learned you got to speak up. You're, even young, it doesn't matter. Right is right, wrong is wrong. You have to speak up. And I saw that specifically one time. I remember in the restaurant in Cardelli, a lady had you probably remember this. I don't know. She bought a Jamaican beef patty, beef pie, and she ate it. She ate like all of it. I think almost all of it. And then she said, I'm sorry, excuse me, this did not taste good. It did not taste. And she was like, she was Karen before there was Karen. I mean, and I was like, okay. And I looked at her, I was like, you do not know who you're messing with, lady. You don't. And she was like, this did not taste good. And she's like, oh, you were like, oh, well, can you, what's wrong with it? I can get you something else. And she's like, you said maybe something's wrong with it. And she asked for another Jamaican beef patty. And this lady ate almost the whole beef patty. And she was like, no, this isn't good. I want something else. And you were like, get out of my restaurant. You're like, you don't get anything. Leave. And then you were like, you owe this much money. Goodbye. And I was like, sometimes the customer's always right. Sure. But
sometimes they take advantage. They want to take advantage.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, and I've seen before other business owners or general managers just kind of cow down, but I don't.
Because in the restaurant, once you get the first bite, you notice if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
You don't like it, and that's when you stop. It's like a drink. Oh, I don't like this drink.
Right.
Stop it right there. You don't almost finish the whole food to say
Twice.
So and then I go the first time, but the second time,
What I think is funny is that like she's still hungry. Like you just had two beef. You're still hungry?
Meal.
Exactly. And I drank all my Coca-Cola. I want something.
That's why, she was just taking advantage.
Yeah, I remember that. So still, I think I haven't. Well, you know this. I haven't. I used to be really quiet, right? You remember? I remember you used to beg me to talk. Like 10, 11 years old, you used to beg me. You're like, why aren't you talking? Why aren't you? And I just really quiet. But around that time, and I see these as some of the experiences when I was 13, 14, going through puberty and understanding, I'm glad I had that time to see, to get those experiences working with like adults in like a business setting and understanding the true, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, hard work pays off. There's the most cliche thing I couldn't remember. Basically, you do good things happen. No, that you need to hustle. You need to put in that hustle. So, is there anything that you've learned or that you've taken with you, or that?
Never to give up.
Never give up.
Never to give up. I don't take no's. You see,
Right.
I don't take. People say, you could say, oh, you might not be able to do it. Like I told you guys, no. You want to do it, you do it. Becomes that bad, it's an experience. You learn something.
Right.
It's not a failure. If it does, you learn something.
Right.
Always. So next time when you do it, you know what not to do. So to me, never to give up. Keep on going. Keep on going. Don't let nothing stop you or nobody to stop you. Just push them out of the way and keep on going. Break walls.
Break walls. I'm not going to say anything to top that. So I want to thank you, Mom. Thank you so much for being on this episode. Happy Mother's Day. I know it's a little bit of ways, but you guys don't know that.
But you guys taking me to the restaurant. Don't worry.
That's right. We are taking you to a restaurant. I hope you enjoy Arby's.
No.
They have the beef. Golden Corral. Golden Corral. Love you, Mom.
Love you too, sweetie.
All right. See y'all later. Bye.
That was good.
That was good? Yeah, Mom. Yeah. You feel good? Feel okay. Good. All right, now let's record.
This has been a broadcast of the MSP Media Network.